Hello and welcome to Dedicated to Wrestling, Slow News Saturday, episode 6 I believe. If you don't know what we do on Slow News Saturday, just take a look in the description and it will explain all you need to know. Now, getting around to the news stories from the week, I have a few Royal Rumbles news stories to kick off this show. First of all, a news story that's just broke in the last 24 hours or so, and a very exciting one as far as I'm concerned, is that apparently WWE officials backstage are speculating right now and really considering the possibility of Samoa Joe entering the Royal Rumble match as a surprise entrant, and not only that, but winning it. Yes, Samoa Joe winning the Royal Rumble. Apparently they are heavily considering having him win the Royal Rumble and then go on to possibly challenge John Cena for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 33. As it was reported before, Samoa Joe is expected to have a monster push as soon as he is with the main company, presumably on SmackDown, I guess. So as soon as he comes to television, he's expected to have a monster push, which will lead into a huge match at WrestleMania and winning the Rumble and going on to face John Cena for the WWE Championship is just about as big as it gets. Now, personally, I think AJ Styles should be in that match, whether it's a triple threat match or whether just AJ against Samoa. I think all the work he's done in the last year, in his debut year, has been phenomenal, and I think he really deserves a main event caliber match at WrestleMania for all the work he's put in over the year. But I can't deny Samoa Joe winning the Rumble and then going on to face John Cena, and which I will confidently say he would beat John Cena for the WWE Championship, considering John Cena is going away immediately after WrestleMania apparently to film another movie. So Samoa Joe holding that title for me would just be so good, and I hope Samoa Joe will go on some kind of undefeated streak and just monster run for quite a while. Getting on from that exciting news, we have some more potentially exciting Rumble news, which has been making the rounds in the last few days, and which is Kurt Angle, of all people, could be making a surprise appearance in the Rumble match itself. Now, obviously, Kurt Angle has just been inducted, well, not quite inducted yet, but he's just been announced to be inducted for the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania weekend. And even though Kurt Angle has said him and WWE haven't talked about any wrestling, he's just completely focusing on the Hall of Fame. WWE officials are considering having him have a brief cameo in the Royal Rumble match. Now, obviously, Vince McMahon and co., they don't want him to have a full match. I think they have issues about his neck. Whether he will have a full match in the WWE again remains to be seen. But you can't go wrong with having Kurt Angle come out as a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble match. So, like, imagine the monstrous pop when his music hits. It will be absolutely ridiculous. And even if he is only in there for 2-3 minutes, at least the crowd get to see him, and even if the crowd are deflated when he goes out, somebody like Samoa Joe coming out later in the match is only going to get them hyped again, and they'll forget all about that. And somebody like The Miz eliminating Kurt Angle, I think personally would be the best way to go. Like, The Miz thrives off heel heat. He's the best heel in the company for me, in my opinion. Imagine the heel he would get for eliminating Kurt Angle with his smug smile. It would be a great setup for a story. Now, getting away from the Royal Rumble, we're going to be talking about Dean Ambrose and the plans WWE officials currently have for him. As you'll know, he beat The Miz for the Intercontinental title a few weeks ago on SmackDown. And if you saw some of my videos from the other week, no, not from the other week, from a few days ago even, WWE will be bringing a brand new redesign for the Intercontinental belt, and they want Dean Ambrose to be the one to unveil that. Whether that belt is going to be unveiled before WrestleMania or not, we don't know, but apparently good news for Dean Ambrose fans is that WWE are planning on giving Dean Ambrose a very long title reign, and are also planning on giving him a big title defense at WrestleMania 33. They want him to be the Intercontinental champ beyond WrestleMania 33 and longer after that. The big title defense could be anything, in my opinion. I don't know. Last year's WrestleMania, they had the big ladder match. But now there's not so many people on SmackDown, like, because they've split the brands. I can see them kind of doing just a one-on-one match for his title, but do expect Dean Ambrose to retain at WrestleMania and to go on to have an incredibly long reign with that title, because they want to give it a prestigious feel, and they want the first person to have the redesigned belt to have that prestige in the WWE, like Dean Ambrose. He's one of the top guys, so it's completely understandable. Now, getting on to another piece of news now about Michael Cole. Didn't think I'd be commentating on much news stories on him, but apparently he is going to be moving away from the commentary desk on WWE Raw and on WWE television in general very soon. He wants to step away from the commentating desk in order to take a backstage role. He will still be with the WWE, but he will basically be training the future announcers for WWE programming. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of Cole. Like, I grew on him over the years, but like being spoiled with JR and King in my early years for so long, I think kind of soured me on any potential replacements, really, long-term replacements. But like, he is a good commentator. He is, like, as much stick as people give him, he's a very good commentator. And I think him training the future announcers would be extremely good for WWE. Getting onto his replacement, now there's a lot of options here. Like, you could have, I already think WWE has way too many commentators. Like, they have 3 on Raw, and they have something ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, like 4 or 5 on SmackDown. Like, why is that even a thing? Why do you need 4 or 5 commentators? It should be, for me, it should be 2 at the very maximum. 3, maybe, but 2 is perfect. But we could have John Bradshaw Layfield go to Raw. Tom Phillips, of course, is also on Tuesday nights. You have Corey Graves on Raw, who I personally wouldn't mind becoming seeing the lead announcer on Raw after Cole goes off the air. Corey Graves is fantastic, I think, as a color commentator. He would be great. Obviously, Ronaldo Moro, he is probably the most sought after WWE commentator and the most talked about right now in terms of how good he is. I can see Vince wanting to bring him to Raw because Raw is kind of Vince's baby, really. I think he cares about Raw more than he does SmackDown, even though he would never admit something like that. So maybe him going. And obviously, we have Nigel McGuinness, who's recently been signed from Ring of Honor. He could end up replacing him on Raw. The company are very high on Nigel and apparently have plans for him to either come up to the main roster or on 205 Live. So that could be another option. But whenever Cole does come, whether he's going to go out in a storyline or that he's just suddenly not going to be there one day and that will be the end, I don't know. But I imagine, knowing how much heat Michael Cole can get and has got in the past, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of draft some storyline up for him to get him off television. Now, with the last piece of news for this episode is about Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, or the Broken Hardys, as we should call them now, and the future for them is looking about 95% likely now that the Hardys will be staying in TNA unless the WWE is willing to make sacrifices to get them to the WWE. Right now, Matt and Jeff want to stay with TNA. Apparently, it's been reported that Matt Hardy has got the creative control he wants from TNA now. It's just a matter of working out a few other kinks and then officially signing a deal. The same with Jeff Hardy. He really enjoys it in TNA right now. He has limited dates. The Hardys are able to go to other promotions like Ring of Honor and do stuff with the Young Bucks. They have so much freedom right now, which is what they want at this time in their career. And I can't blame them, to be honest. As much as WWE is kind of like the franchise promotion, going back to WWE, having one final run as the Hardys, I wouldn't even be surprised if that's not that tempting to them after seeing the Dudleys' final run with the WWE. But as of right now, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, and even Drew Galloway, if we're interested in him, none of them have signed new deals with TNA, but it is expected 95% that at least Matt and Jeff will be signing with TNA in the coming weeks because they feel extremely comfortable there and they have everything they want there now. As always, guys, thank you for watching this episode 6 of Slow News Saturday. I will be back possibly tomorrow if there's any big stories that break, but Sunday's usually a pretty dead day. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Dedicated to Wrestling. Until next time.